Howdy everyone, it's Nomeo back at it with another video. Today I want to talk about the entirety of Season 1 within Battlefield 6 as the final event is wrapping up shortly here. As a quick overview of Season 1's content, we have gotten a total of 2 maps, 6 weapons, the divisive Battle Royale RedSec, and a couple events for us to talk about. If you enjoyed the video today, please remember to leave a like and subscribe. Let's dive right into it. I want to start off to talk about what will be the shortest section in the video, Battlefield RedSec. I remember when Season 1's content was first announced and hearing a Battle Royale, I was like, oh boy, can't wait for some more content and another Battle Royale to not care about. And honestly, after playing like 10 to 15 games, that's exactly how I feel about Battlefield RedSec. It feels like the red-headed stepchild of Warzone. And Red Zone right now currently isn't really a great Battle Royale in my opinion. I will say though, if you, like little Billy here, like Warzone and think, oh, Warzone just needs some tanks and helicopters. Well, you've come to the right place. In some fairness, I will say the map isn't bad for the Battle Royale. It just mainly feels chaotic from what I've experienced with the extra chaotic nature that tanks and helicopters have added before. Also, just the hit registration feels like a little extra off. Like, I don't know if there's differences between RedSec and Battlefield 6 standard multiplayer servers or netcode, but something feels off. Which is saying something because after some patches, it just feels like you're just getting shot around the corner in multiplayer. One thing I personally like over Warzone is that there is no gulag for you to go fight just to be able to have a chance to redeploy. Overall though, I'd give RedSec about a 3, maybe 2.5 metal turtles out of 5. As it's not the worst Battle Royale, I'm worried more or less about the other content in Season 1 because the rest of the content was kind of lacking, and I'm just worried about going forward with Season 2 and 3 that it's just going to be a lack worth of content and just more of a push towards the live service actions and the just the Battle Royale aspects, kind of like what happened to COD once Warzone was brought in with Modern Warfare 2019. Now, let's just move on to something more fun to talk about. The 6 weapons that were added. With Season 1's release, we got a total of 6 new weapons, which consist of 5 new guns and a new melee. I will mainly be focusing on the 5 new guns as the new melee is pretty much just a new knife skin from what I have seen so far. To start it off, I'll be talking about the GHH-22, which I believe is just the Glock. As with most sidearms in this game, this thing shoots what farts. I have seen more damage done by a building than this thing. This gun's best time to kill is 4 shots, which I think just starts to drop off around the 10 to 15 meter range. And to be honest, if you're facing someone with a full auto weapon, you are essentially guaranteeing your death by running this sidearm. The GHH-22 gets 0 metal turtles out of 5 because this is somehow just a sidearm in this game, which is crazy to think about. Let's move on to the next pile of crap from Season 1, the DB-12. The DB in DB-12 stands for Dead Bitch, as that's what you're going to be as soon as you equip this shotgun. I don't know who at DICE or EA thought it would be a great idea to add the double barrel pump shotgun and make it the only shotgun in the game without a one-shot kill. Like, wonderful! Thanks, DICE, as someone like me who already doesn't touch shotguns in Battlefield unless I'm running Assault, which is never. This is a way to never make me ever think about equipping that gun. If you want to use this shotgun, actually, if you just want to use a shotgun in Battlefield 6, please use any other shotgun that is currently in the game, as any other shotgun in the game gets a one-shot kill besides this thing. This gun gets a 0 metal turtles out of 10, or 5. For again, just, being another gun that somehow exists in this game. Okay, now that we're done with that, let's move on to the first good gun of Season 1, the SOR 300SC. Personally, this is my first game using it in this background gameplay, but I have used it a couple times so I could continue writing this. It's pretty good. I would put it probably in the top half of carbines, but nowhere still near. The king of carbines is still the M4A1 and the SG553R. Personally, I use the SG553R over the SOR just due to the fact I've leveled up more because the SG553R is pretty good at range. But from what I have used, the SOR's like lack of recoil, it's because as you're seeing in the background gameplay, it's a laser. Like, it's a carbine, but you can use it at assault rifle ranges. And going back on like the fact how it has no recoil, if you're someone who doesn't want to fight any recoil for a full auto weapon, the SOR is just a perfect weapon for you, as the M4A1 and the SG553R do have a bit more recoil. I do give the SOR a 3.5 metal turtles out of 5. Currently, I just don't want to rate it any higher because I don't have it super high leveled, but if I do think it's worth enough, I might make a best setup video for it. So now, let's move on to the most fun close range sniper I've ever gotten the enjoyment to use in a Battlefield game, the Mini Scout. I do not play Recon a ton, nor do I snipe a lot, as I like to have a very fun, aggressive playstyle as you're seeing in the background. I like to run up and challenge the enemy front lines, but I have found that the Mini Scout fits perfectly into that playstyle right out of the bat. Being able to rechamber rounds while aiming down sights is such a big help when you want to run or try to get a short flank on the enemy front line. I feel like the biggest downgrade though to the Mini Scout is the range, as it seems to be best for that 75 to 100 meter range, but also that is its biggest upside, as it's built for that more aggressive up close range. Plus, being able to rechamber while aiming down sights is huge for when you just want to flick off enemies' heads fast. Let's move on to the last weapon that was released within Season 1, which is the M357 Trait Sidearm, which is an 8-round revolver. This still has a 2-shot kill as the M44 revolver, but it does come with a lot steeper damage drop-off. But within that 10-meter range, this revolver is the king of pistols with a faster fire rate than the M44, and having that 2-shot kill within that range makes this a very trusty sidearm. Heck, one of the only 3 useful sidearms in this game. But that steep damage drop-off is also what holds the sidearm back, as after 20 meters, this gun drops off to a 4-shot kill, but you most likely won't be using it at that range anyway. If I were to rank the 5 new guns from worst to best, it would probably go the GHH-22 sidearm, the DB-12 shotgun, the SOR-300 SC carbine, then the M357 Trait sidearm. That is the best gun from the season, the Mini Scout sniper rifle. Now that I've talked about the weapons of Season 1, let's move on to the 2 new maps. In Season 1 of Battlefield 6, we were all hoping for some bigger maps. Did we get that? Kinda. We got Blackwell Fields, which takes place on a large California oil field with an open ground, which really favors, that sniping and tank play styles. Then there's Eastwood, which takes place in the Cali suburbs golf course. We technically did get a third map, but it was just part of the winter offensive update. It was just a reskin for Empire State, which is called Ice Lock Empire State. Just to get out of the way about Ice Lock Empire State, as it's already the only map in the game without any vehicles, I was very disappointed that this was the map to be re-released with the new visuals in the winter offensive update. If this were the Manhattan Bridge map, I would have been all for it, as that map at least may not be huge horizontally, but it does make up for that with some of the vertical buildings you can fight on top of, and also the other fact that it does have helicopters and tanks. The game mode to also play on Ice Lock Empire State, which is what I'm playing in the background, and it's probably one of the last times I'll ever play it when I'm writing this. There's 8 hours left of this game mode, and it's just gotten really repetitive, and this reskin is just very visually cluttered, and it's just that extra visual from that snow dust, it makes it so hard to play at times. It's hard to see people at times, and let's just move this thing out of the way. So Blackwell Fields. This map alone is like a tank player's and sniper's wet dream. Open fields, hills, and very, very limited cover. Usually in Conquest, the AA tanks like to sit in their spawn and live the dream, and the main battle tank is sniping either infantry or other tanks across the map. When this map came out, it was practically unplayable for air vehicles, and it still kind of is. When it came out, you could just sit and lock in enemy aircrafts while they just spawned in opposing enemy teams' bases. Besides that, this map, just over those facts and also just being it's essentially an open field, is automatically in a lower tier map of the game. Like, I thought it was going to be nice and believe when it was going to be better than the maps because it was one of the larger maps, but genuinely after all this time, I'm going to have to give this map, with all the giant open fields for snipers and just being a heaven for tank players, I give this map 2 metal turtles out of 5. Let's move on to Eastwood. This beautiful California suburb is ripe for 2 long lanes of tanks and snipers, with middle clubhouse for all close quarters fun you need. This map is definitely one of the bigger maps within Battlefield 6, but unfortunately, it does not get the blessing of having jets. But at least it still does have the attack helicopter and the transport helicopter for both teams. I find this map usually to be pretty fun to play if you direct yourself towards the kind of awkward flow of the map where it just kind of tries to feed you towards the C objective, which is the middle clubhouse on the map. And that can get really fun, but it gets really clustered and chaotic. and it just can get overly repetitive if you get the map 2 times maybe in a gaming session, like 2 times really quick back to back in a gaming session. This map also is really difficult to do any AA support, as the enemy aircrafts, like the helicopters, can just stay pretty close to the hills on the one side of the map, and just pretty much stay below any of the lock-on ranges. So you essentially are dependent on using the TOW missile or using an RPG to take them down. One good thing though, it is also impossible to see clearly across the map besides in the 2 side lanes, and that is because there's 2 hills on either side of C, so you can kind of position yourself behind there. But at the same point, the bad thing about this map, there's still no good spot for those AAs. Genuinely though, because it can kind of be a sniper's wet dream on the 2 side lanes, and then just gets overly chaotic in the middle. It's hard to say. I give this map a three. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. Genuinely, because I find it more fun than the other maps in the game. But let's move right on to the couple events that came out during Season 1. For Season 1 of Battlefield 6, we were delivered 3 content drops: Rogue Ops, the California Resistance Update, and the Winter Offensive Update. The first update, Rogue Ops, gave us Blackwell Fields, the Battle Royale RedSec, the Battle Pass with 3 weapons, and the Rogue Ops attachment challenges. This first drop of content was really nice to see at the time. I really enjoyed Blackwell Fields when it first came out, as I was mainly just playing with tanks, and now that I'm playing like engineer using anti-armor and playing sport, it's not a fun map. But all this content the first month of the game launched just felt insane to see, especially with like the attachment challenges, the Rogue Ops challenges, which include the rail covers and the low-powered variable optics to weapons which we already had, which I thought was a fantastic addition. For the first week of Rogue Ops content drop, the community seemed divisive about the RedSec, the Battle Royale, but overall, it was a pretty good update, in my opinion. It did break the game too much. It did, but it didn't. But yeah, let's move on to the second content update, the California Resistance Update, which included the California's Resistance Limited Time Battle Pass with the DB-12, 2 Rogue Ops challenges, which gave us a new attachment, the Slim Handstop, and the M357 trait, and the new Eastwood map. Since there was the limited time battle pass, which was with the limited time event, it came with the new LTM mode called Sabotage. We already know my opinion on the new weapons, so I won't waste my time talking about them. The new limited time game mode Sabotage was tied directly to the new limited time battle pass, which was fine, doing challenges in Sabotage. The one thing the devs do need time to test to see if the challenges to unlock said limited time battle pass are actually reasonable challenges. I believe one of the challenges on release of the update was in Sabotage, supply a teammate on an objective 300 times. That's insane for like a limited time mode. That's just generally a 5-minute mode where you can maybe do it 15 times. That's like 20 games. That's crazy to think that that was ever allowed. Like maybe if it was like 5, maybe 10, that would be better, but 15, 20 games is crazy. In my opinion, the best part of this update was the new map Eastwood. I still find it pretty fun to play, even though it can get a little chaotic at the clubhouse and the sidelines can get a little annoying at times. I do think, though, that the worst part about this update, though, was easily the limited time battle pass. Why are you making the dumb bitch 12 the fucking final reward? Get that gun out of the game. The last content drop of Season 1 was the Winter Offensive Update, which had the least amount of content out of all the content drops. This content drop came with Ice Lock Empire State, 1 melee weapon, and a limited time game mode and a limited time battle pass. This update was pretty underwhelming in my opinion, mainly just a holiday content drop with the winter update for the Ice Lock Empire State, which is something I forgot to mention. Actually, I think I did, but the visibility on this map's fucking horrific. I would rather play standard Empire State any day of the week. The game mode is pretty fun personally, even though over the past couple weeks it's slowly gone older and older. The challenges for the limited time battle pass again were kind of frustrating, with the game mode's premise being about being frozen away from the heat sources, which are the barrels, but also they wanted you to stay on the barrels to stay heated to get damage for challenges, and they had a lot of weird challenges. Another one was like healing. The update originally came out, they had a challenge where you had to like heal a teammate for 1,000 health on a barrel, which was ridiculous. I think they ended up reducing it down to like 300. Overall, I'm gonna give the Winter Offensive Update a solid 2.5 Metal Turtles out of 5, as it was just probably the smallest just content drop. that we'll get out of this entire thing. Honestly, just the entirety of Season 1 gets 2.5 out of 5 Metal Turtles. Just from how small it is, how different it is, it's just a huge drop off of the content from what we saw at the start of the game, and the maps are just need to get a lot better for this map, or not for this map, for this game to truly thrive and succeed. That was my review for the entirety of Battlefield 6 Season 1. I hope to do this again for Season 2 if my interest in the game continues. I personally have not felt any burnout for this game yet. I'm hoping that we at least get 2 maps, maybe 3 or 4 actually for Season 2. Also, just a heads up, I am working on my next best setup guide. Don't want to get too much into it, spoil anything for anybody, or for you guys, and just be on the lookout for that. But if you could please leave a like and subscribe today, and also comment your thoughts and opinions on Season 1 of Battlefield 6, that would be amazing. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out.